Hey folks, this is Billy DKY, the truth seeker that simplifies and demystifies. Today we're going to be talking about evaluating spiritual practices. This video came about because I've heard, a lot of stupid things, and I was like, you know what? And the one thing that I heard is drinking your own urine and stuff like that, which we will talk about later on in the video. So I want to give basically some just general guidelines for evaluating spiritual practices that you might want to try. Because I didn't learn this stuff by knowing. I had to try stuff, and I still try stuff to see what works and what doesn't work. So let's talk about how you should evaluate. And it's really, as always, it's really simple. It ain't complicated at all. That's your first indication if something's not worth practicing. If it's complicated, skip it. So let's get to the how you do it. If the risks are low and the benefits are potentially high, then do it. Like the positive training that if you've watched any of my other videos, the positive training, I'm basically telling you just repeat some positive words and see what the benefits are. Look, what's the risk in that? I can't think of any real risk other than you just don't want to do it. The potential benefits is you being a positive person, seeing life from a more positive vantage point. So the risks are minimal at best, and the upside of it is huge. Maybe even if you don't see that it's huge, it is huge. Okay, if the risks are high, then forget about it. I don't care if the benefits are high or not. If the risks are high, forget about it. Trust me, there's plenty of minuscule little things you can do that just wind up being huge when you do them over the long term. That's what we're looking for. Basically, folks, it's just common sense. Don't lose your mind because you're doing spiritual training. You know what I'm saying? Use all the things that you know in your real life and bring it into your spiritual practice. It's not, this stuff is not really that difficult. It's the same thing you do in business. If the risks are too high and the rewards too low, then don't do it. If it sounds crazy, it probably is. Now, obviously, there's some things that sound, I'm going to tell you a bunch of stuff in these videos that sound crazy that are not crazy at all. But they sound crazy to your logical mind or your ego or whatever it is. Again, the greatest spiritual practices are the simplest and least practiced. It all boils down to giving up ego and pleasure. Or to say it all boils down to you giving up your egotistical pleasure-seeking ways. In small ways. Not big ways, small ways. So when the Buddha set 9 days of meditation, that wasn't smart. That's ignorance. I don't care how great it sounds. And if he was alive, he'd tell you the same thing. He'd say, you know what? That was just ego sitting there for 9 days. That's all it was. It's ego. That ain't smart. You know as well as I do, it ain't smart to sit for 9 days straight in one spot. Hell, it's not good to sit for. Why do you think an airplane's? I've read an article where it's if you sit in an airplane for like 15 hours, going somewhere, flying, it's, you can get strokes and stuff like that. Or not strokes, strokes and stuff like that. It's bad for you. We all know it's bad to sit that long. Your ass gets sore. It's. I'm not saying he didn't have some benefits to it, but it was too risky, really. And doesn't follow natural principles, so it's a bad idea, really, all the way. But if you had to do it, that's fine. Do it. I'm not saying don't do it if you have to do it. I'm just saying, as a spiritual practice, it's foolishness. If you haven't noticed already, do you not see the repeating pattern in all my videos on the truth? It's all about, or most of them anyway, it's always giving up ego, giving up pleasure. All I'm doing is taking that core principle and applying it to different things. And it's not a philosophical idea of mine to give up pleasure and ego. It's not some ancient philosophy. No, it's just hardcore truth. It's what really works. That's all I'm doing. Telling you what really works. So let's evaluate some spiritual practices, like the drinking the piss. Okay, so what's the risk in that? It could potentially be bad. Here's another thing. Do you see wild animals drinking their piss? No. Why? Because it's probably not real smart. Is there any benefits to it? I'm imagining there may be. Notice what I'm not saying. I'm not saying there is. I'm saying there may be some benefit to it. So what is piss? It's basically purified water with toxins in it. So, and the French used piss to And their gas masks, or well, before they were gas masks, biologic to kill biological particles in the air. You know, if they've been attacked biologically, they pee in their face mask and put it on, and then the urine would kill the biological stuff as it come through it because it had the toxins in it. So maybe, just maybe, now notice, I'm not preaching doing this, I don't do it, and I ain't recommending do it. However, there may be some minuscule benefit to drinking your own pee, like maybe it kills some germs in your mouth or your throat. But once it gets to your stomach, I mean, your acids are going to break it all down, so it has to be something to do with your mouth and your throat. It's the only thing I can think of. Do I recommend doing it? No. Why? Because it sounds stupid. And why? Because it probably is stupid. If it works for you, do it. I'm not doing it. Sitting in meditation for 9 days. I already talked about that. It's ignorance. It's just big ego. Positive training. Done discussed it. It's simple. There's no real lunacy in it. It's so simple it's hard to believe. But it does work. If you wouldn't mind, would you please rate the video? I don't care how you rate it, just as long as you rate it. And as always, upper right hand corner, you'll see the links to my 3 blogs. You can go check those out if you want. Later, folks. Now go live what you just heard.